Hey, Courtney.
Hey, can you hear me?
Say it again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Do you see the screen share?
I can see the screen share. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, we have about 27 people in the waiting room. Do you want to start bringing them in?
Let's wait one more minute because it's only, well, I guess it is 5:59. I just looked at my watch. It was 5:58
4:59.
or 4:58. Sorry. My goodness, I'm trying to speed through time here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can start bringing them in. Too bad we didn't get a big turnout, but that's all right. We'll go fast.
There we go.
Fine.
How we doing, Courtney?
So it looks like everyone is in, and I can pull people in as they are in the waiting room. But if you're ready to go, we can keep going.
All right. We'll go ahead and get started since it's such a beautiful day and want to give people an opportunity to enjoy the great weather and great day. I want to welcome everyone to the Pullman School District presentation of the State of the District here. So I wanted to start by thanking our staff, students, and families and community partners for their patience and support during these challenging times. We've had an opportunity to rethink and redesign our educational systems and delivery. So it's been quite a long year, and it's just over a year. So we hope that this informational presentation will be helpful. And so we're going to go ahead and start for the next slide. So some of the topics that we're going to cover today will be curriculum and adoption update, construction update, graduation update, athletics and activities, and just some additional last minute information that we hope you will find very helpful today. Next. So curriculum adoption, want to just cover this so people are aware of what's going on during the pandemic. We have had recent adoptions in the district. Second step is social emotional curriculum at grades K-5. And that has happened, and we are still working through the process of implementation on that. Bridges Math is the new elementary math curriculum, grades K-5. We've been working on our professional development offerings for staff over the summer of 2020 and during the 2020-21 school year, and that will continue into the next school year. So it's been, as you can imagine, a little challenging trying to do professional development during a pandemic. But staff are doing a great job, and we're looking forward to this much needed math curriculum at the elementary level. The next adoption that we're currently in the process of working on is the elementary English language arts adoption. And so we are looking at a potential field testing starting this month, April 2021, with a possible adoption later this spring with a fall implementation. We've had a great committee working on this. I've seen many teachers coming and poring over the different materials that have been available for view and study. So really looking forward to hearing the results from that committee and their recommendation to the board. So again, we're hoping to get that field testing started this month. So to give you an update on where we're going with that. As far as future adoptions, we do have an curriculum adoption cycle. So we want to make sure that we're not having any particular content area go too long without an adoption. So we are looking at middle school and high school math in the future, and then resources that support inclusion and belonging. And that is both in not only special services, but in the social emotional, especially at the secondary level. So we are working on those future adoptions. So we want to give you an update so you know what's coming next. So again, appreciate all the work that's been done. Want to go over a quick update with our construction projects. We are running actually 3 different projects currently. I'm going to talk about 2 of them during this presentation. I'll just mention the other one a little bit. First one, and one of the most critical, is the Lincoln Middle School renovation and expansion. You see some updated photos in the presentation here. So you're looking at what we're calling kind of the 6th grade wing, which has 8 classrooms, a science lab. There's also another science lab being built on the other end of the school, as well as the commons is actually gutted right now, and they're working on that expansion. So you can see we're making some progress. That new wing has been drywalled and it's actually been painted. And so we'll be looking at, I think ceiling tiles arrived today, and we'll be looking at doing some additional locker installation and ceilings and cabinetry. So the enlarged common areas will enable us to comfortably serve in the future students during lunches in a more comfortable manner. It will also have a cooling system added, which if anyone spent any time at the middle school in previous years in the fall or spring will know that it gets quite warm. So we'll have that cooling system is in, and they are working on making all the connections to the rooms. This was bond funded, and so I do want to thank our community for supporting this much needed bond. It's been just great for us and will really help with the student growth that we anticipate in the future. Completion date is fall 2021. I don't have an exact date. As you know, weather and building supplies can quickly change a building schedule, but right now we're looking really good, and we look forward to having those students be able to occupy those new classrooms fall 2021. Next project we'll talk about is the Whitman County Transportation Cooperative. So this was a grant that we applied to the state of Washington. It funds approximately 90% of this 20,000 square foot facility. This will replace the current transportation Quonset hut located in the middle of Pullman. This new transportation cooperative is out on Albion Road, just off of Highway 27. This is a cooperative with several other school districts that are participating in this. And this will benefit our neighboring districts as well, as far as a place for them to be able to do bus maintenance or contract with us to do the bus maintenance. So looking at these pictures, the little tiny wide opening thing is actually a bus wash that you can see in the bottom left picture. And those 3 larger bays are for heavy duty maintenance of buses. And we also have a light maintenance bay that will be built pretty soon. We've also been able to add a fuel station, which we'll be able to buy fuel in bulk. That'll be a cost savings for us. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a bus watch, and we will have covered parking for all of our buses, which will help maintain the life expectancy of our buses in the future. So we're really excited about this project. It's been long overdue, and we're really great that we were able to get a grant to pay for 90% of this project. Completion date is set for September 2021. And so we look forward to that as well. And again, just another example of what we can do when we really put our team to work in applying for grants to help fund this. So it's not a drain on our taxpayers. The other project that I did not include in this, but I'll just mention, is that the cooling systems for the 3 elementaries, that would be Jefferson, Sunnyside, and Franklin, that construction will start this summer as soon as students are out of that buildings or out of those buildings. And so we're really excited about getting some HVAC cooling systems in the 3 elementaries that currently don't have those. All right, thank you, Courtney. Next. So graduation update. I've been receiving a few emails and calls regarding graduation, and so I wanted to share just some current information. Some of this is subject to change, possibly, so please continue to visit our website or check with the high school. So commencement ceremony, our goal is for in-person. That is our goal. It's a goal right now. A lot of this is going to be dependent on what phase that we are actually in. Right now, our numbers are not looking good in Whitman County. We're about 379 cases per 100,000. We need to be below 200,000. So that could change our plan. So we are currently have Beasley Coliseum reserved. If we're unable to access that, we are working on 2 other outdoor venues. And so we will actually have 3 different graduation plans ready to go depending on what phase we will be in. So I want to shout out to the administrative team and the teachers at Pullman High School that are working on this. SAT, ACT optional admissions. I did want to spend just a moment to talk about this. Most Washington colleges are not requiring high school seniors to take standardized tests like the SAT or ACT for fall 2021 admission. Some colleges will require an alternate, though, in place of that test if a senior does not submit test scores. That could be a letter of recommendation, participation dual credit courses, or success in high school classes, kind of like your GPA, that type of thing. I do want to note, though, for seniors that are looking at applying for scholarships, there are private scholarships that still will require an SAT or an ACT. So please be aware of that, and please check with your high school counselor if you have any questions. I also know the high school sent out a nice email, I believe it was today, or may have been yesterday, giving some additional information on the SAT or ACT. I would say if you have any question about whether the college might accept that or scholarship opportunity, I would suggest it's not going to hurt to take the test. So, but check with your school counselor or the high school if you have any questions regarding the SAT or ACT optional admissions. Also, with pathways to graduation, there are several flexible pathways to help our seniors be able to graduate on time. There's the SBA, ELA, and math. So that's the a state assessment. We're not, so that's one pathway. College admission exam, AP course, dual credit. The ASVAB, which is the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. Career Technical Education course sequence. And there is also now been approved emergency waiver of high school graduation credits. So if we can move to that next slide. So this is a very basic overview. For more information, please contact your high school. So the State Board of Education did adopt an emergency waiver for some high school graduation requirements for the class of 2021 due to the COVID pandemic. Possible waiver up to 2 credits, provided that the student graduates with no fewer than a total of 20 credits. So please check with your school counselor or administrator if you believe you may be eligible for that or you may need that. So check with them. Remember that no more than 1 credit in each core subject can be waived. And a student's graduation pathway may be waived for eligible students. Please check with your school counselor or administrator. There are certain restrictions that apply, but if you know of a senior that is questionable about graduating with credits or has a concern about graduating with credits, again, please contact the high school and they can help you out with the specific information and availability of graduation credits. So I want to thank Chris Franklin for sending us the athletic and activities update information. So I will say that this is a very fluid situation in athletics and activities right now because they are directly impacted by what phase our county is in. Not to be a bad bearer of bad news, but there is a strong possibility that Whitman County might move back 1 or more phases on April 12th. That's when the state of Washington is going to review county numbers regarding COVID-19 pandemic levels. We need to be at 200 or below for us not to move down a phase or have additional restrictions. So if we do move back a phase, it will impact spectators and also possibly sports seasons. So we are close to the end of the year. Please continue to wear your face mask, wash your hands, stay 6 feet apart, and avoid social gathering. It's really, really important. I can't emphasize this enough. It's great to have sports and activities back, but I do need to let you know that if the COVID numbers keep spiking, we will have some additional restrictions on spectators and possibly sports seasons. I hope that's not the case. I do want to shout out volleyball finished the GSL as 2A champions. Fantastic season, and you can see there also the student athlete of the week, Kayla. Girls swim second as well. Girls soccer that ends actually on the 3rd, and they're currently in 4th place. I know they won yesterday, so I don't know if they're still in 4th place or they may have moved up since this slide was submitted. Cross country season ends April 3rd, and boys 2nd place, girls are in 3rd, and they'll have a culminating event this weekend. And football, 3 games left, 2 in varsity and 1 in JV. So go Hounds. Next slide. Thank you, Courtney. So spring and winter sports schedules, just be aware that starting April 5th and going until May 16th, we are hoping to have boys, girls track, boys soccer, boys and girls tennis, baseball, softball, boys and girls golf, and hoping that we'll have winter sports season starting May 10th and going to June 20th will be boys and girls basketball, wrestling, and swimming. Again, in order to continue to have this season, though, we really need to help our community lower those COVID numbers across our county. And again, I know this is continually received questions, and I know that Chris Franklin has done a great job communicating this out to our parents and our public. But again, spectator guidelines have changed so many times, I can't even count. So please be aware and please understand that we have to follow those specific guidelines from the state of Washington Department of Health and the WIAA. So the most recent guidance can be found on our district website under district news, titled the Greater Spokane League Spectator Guidelines. So please check those, just don't assume, because they do change quite often. Again, you can also look at a summary of those current guidelines issued by the Washington Department of Health on the WIAA COVID-19 page, and you can see the link there. So again, we want to make sure we have sports seasons for our students and activities for our students. So please, please help each other out by following the protocols. Next, I just want to spend a few minutes talking about the emergency closure information. So again, you should have received, if you're a parent or student, a letter probably last week. So in the event that the pandemic impacts our ability to conduct school operations safely, we may have to do an emergency closure. So there are two real situations where that would occur. One would be if we had a COVID breakout in a school and we had to do quarantine, we may have to quarantine a whole school. The other situation might be if we don't have enough staff in order to conduct school for that particular day. So to minimize that potential, we plan to implement any emergency closures at the building level rather than at a district level. So this could result in some schools closing while others remain open. It could also result in schools ending their 180-day year on different dates. So we want to make sure that that's clear to our constituents. We will do our best to notify families and staff of any school or district closure in a timely manner via our school messenger notification system. And by the way, that can be by phone, email, or text. And if you want to know how to sign up for that, that information is on our website. Ideally, the day before the closure occurs, we will get that notification out. But again, that could be a last minute in the morning call. Local TV and radio stations, they will provide timely updates and we will notify them. It is our hope that we do not have to do an emergency closure at all. That's our goal, but we do want to make sure that, again, our staff, our students, and our families know that that could be a possibility. We are all doing a great job, again, following those protocols, washing our hands, wearing our masks, distancing, and that's going to be one of the keys to keeping open. So again, please, please follow those safety measures. Next, I just want to talk briefly about equity in our school district. This has been another one of our initiatives that we've been working on since last year. And just when COVID hit, we were moving that along pretty well. We continue to do book studies in the district right now. Building administrators and district administrators and some staff are doing a book study with Belonging Through a Culture of Dignity, the keys to a successful equity implementation by Floyd Cobb and John Cronapple. Again, this is I think a very good book to talk about and learn about equity. So I highly suggest it as a read. We are continuing to do our work with that in groups. Every week we take a different chapter, and that's been very beneficial for our administrative team, and we hope to move this out to our staff as well. Another equity initiative that we are launching for the 2021-2022 school year is the equity and fee waivers, and really taking a look at how we can help our students access not only meals, but activities that might have a cost associated with them. So if your family qualifies for free or reduced meals, the district can facilitate waivers for school programs. If you're not sure you qualify for free or reduced meals, you can fill out an application anyway. And I encourage you to do so if you think you may be eligible. We do have a form that does need to be filled out. It's called a consent to share child nutrition program eligibility, in order for us to help process that for fee waivers in other areas besides food and nutrition. So again, this is another one of those activities around equity that we are advertising and marketing more for the upcoming school year. In addition, the school board has added an equity report as a standing board agenda item, and during that time of the board meeting, we provide equity update information as far as any activities that may have occurred during that 2-week period or that are ongoing. So we try to give an update with that, and really appreciate the board for including that as part of a standing board agenda item. In addition, many of you hopefully participated in the Center for Educational Effectiveness survey. That was done with students, staff, and families. We do this every 2 years, and we just received the data back this past month. And so we will be diving into that actually right after spring break with building administrators, building teams, and with the board in May. So again, the initial review summer results are very favorable to the work that is occurring with diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we know that we still have a long way to go, and we are very excited for the opportunity to continue our initiatives in the areas of equity, diversity, and inclusion. So with that, I appreciate you taking the time on this gorgeous day to attend this presentation. One other item that I will just share that's not on a slide, and I apologize ahead of time. Some of you may have noted that the CDC came out with new recommendations moving from 6 feet to 3 feet. The Washington Department of Health issued some new guidelines regarding that as well. So what we know right now is that this is a minimum requirement, that school districts still retain the option to stay at 6 feet. However, by summer and fall, the guidance says that school districts should be no longer using the 6 foot unless there is high COVID levels in your particular community. So it still recommends 6 feet between staff and students. It also recommends 6 feet among certain students in certain circumstances, excuse me, such as when they're eating, which that really causes some issues with us as far as if they're eating in the classroom, we can't fit them in. With 6 feet eating in the classroom, we need to find a larger space, and many of our larger spaces are being used for other activities. And also provide our supervision of those activities is another area that we are still working on and figuring out. So again, right now, since the positivity rate is so high in Whitman County, we are not moving to the 3 feet right now as far as spacing. We're going to continue with our same protocols and distancing measures that we have in place. We will reevaluate that on April 12th when the Washington Department of Health will make a recommendation or an order for us, our county, to move back if our caseload is still high. So again, really appreciate your time today. Please continue to do your part to stop the spread of COVID-19. That really is going to make a difference to helping us remain open for in-person services. Thank you for all you do for our students, our families, and each other. I appreciate your attendance today on such a beautiful day. If you have other questions or suggested topics for the next State of the District presentation, feel free to email Courtney or myself. I appreciate your continued support, and you have a well-deserved and safe spring break. Thank you very much for attending, and I'm ending on time. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a great day.